afraid. Through the lies I feel your pain. Still we endeavor, not ready to sever yet. Nothing is simple. It's not what it seems when we open our eyes. Beginning to question, do we really deserve this? Passing time as we so
It only took 4 different times for Dominik Mysterio to get out of the doghouse with Rhea Ripley tonight. Liv Morgan is in trouble, man. Dominic got a very rare second chance, from my observation, from Rhea Ripley tonight, who returned, addressed the WWE fans. And it's official, folks. Rhea Ripley's getting her championship match against Liv Morgan at SummerSlam. Gunther and Damian Priest had a very good face-to-face, building their championship match going into SummerSlam. Drew McIntyre, he wants that match with CM Punk, but he will not apologize to Adam Pearce or the referees for what he did at Money in the Bank. Bron Breakker, he got kicked out of the building. Can't stop Bron Breakker, man. He came back to destroy Sami Zayn and Ilja Dragonov. Chad Gable, we have a new Alpha Academy, finally, as Bo Dallas got destroyed tonight, potentially setting up a SummerSlam face-to-face between Gable and Uncle Howdy. There was a lot on this show tonight, man. There's a lot that's going on right now. I feel overwhelmed. I'm a little bit under the weather, man. Shout out to my Chicago fans dealing with the tornado going on right now. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But listen, Jesse, he might have got blown away by the tornado. He's not in the venue right now, so I have no idea who's making drinks. But I'll tell you what, I'm going to get there. We're going to have some drinks. Ice cold on this Monday night. We're starting the week strong. And tonight we're drinking in the beer garden. When I get there, I want to know on this Monday night, what the fuck are you guys drinking? I'll see you over there.
Why has Triple H been so successful? Why is Triple H running WWE better than Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard on Monday and Friday night? Long-term booking.
Thank you so very much for joining me right here on Off the Script. This is your Monday Night Raw post show for July 15th, 2024. I am your host, JD from New York. As always, coming to you live from the OTS venue. Thank you guys so very much for joining me on your Monday evenings, wherever you may be. Raw tonight, man. Story, and story. We got a lot of moving parts on Monday Night Raw tonight. And SummerSlam's build, especially on the Monday Night Raw side, I'm loving what we got so far, man. I love the multiple stories that we have going on with the Raw brand going into the second biggest show of the year. Obviously being spearheaded tonight by the return of Rhea Ripley. She is back full-time with the company after being absent for 3 months. And she is immediately targeting what she never lost. And that was the WWE Women's World Championship. And a match with Liv Morgan is all set to go at SummerSlam in Cleveland. The story's playing out beautifully. Everybody has done their job perfectly. I am invested. I love where it's going. We still don't know where it's going to end up. And I love the fact that there's a little dash of unpredictability, even so, after tonight, where it looks like Dominik Mysterio, so far, is in the clear. Because it looks like, from my POV, that Rhea Ripley has at least given Dominik Mysterio a second chance after Rhea saw firsthand how Liv Morgan operates. And that Dominik Mysterio, I mean, the young guy can't handle himself, man. He's got all of this happening right before him. And Rhea Ripley knows that she's going to need to step in and save Poppy, Dominik Mysterio. So we are going to go over what she said and the story that was throughout the night with Dominik Mysterio trying to get back in the good graces of Rhea Ripley. But that was not the only major development that we got tonight, man. The other major development, and I'm going to put this on the list of things near the top, even over Drew McIntyre and CM Punk, who was not there tonight. McIntyre was there. Seth Rollins was there. Bo Dallas. We finally saw Bo Dallas in front of a live audience. I can't even begin to tell you when the last time we saw him in front of a live audience was, outside of this Uncle Howdy stuff. Human Bo Dallas, like actual Bo Dallas. He showed up tonight because Gable called him out. Gable feels like he uncovered the mystery of the century here as to who Uncle Howdy is. We all know, everybody knows it's Bo Dallas. But it was all a ruse. Master Gable pulled the wool over Bo Dallas's eyes. And he's unleashed a new Alpha Academy. He's got the proper backup for himself because Adam Pearce and nobody else wants to help him. So he took things into his own hands. Brutus and Julius Creed have finally aligned with Chad Gable. And they all attacked Bo Dallas tonight in a 3-on-1 attack, which left Bo Dallas laughing maniacally, which then summoned out the rest of the Wyatt Six. Where is this going into SummerSlam? Are we looking at the Creeds and Chad Gable versus the Wyatt Six? Or are we looking at Chad Gable himself versus Uncle Howdy at SummerSlam? Either way you look at it, it looks like Chad Gable is getting his SummerSlam match, and it's going to be a big one. We just don't know which direction WWE is going to go in. Sami Zayn, Ilja Dragonov was your main event for the Intercontinental Championship. I wish they got a little bit more time. I mean, it's criminal that you put those two guys in the ring and they don't even get more than 12 minutes. But it's not the last time we're going to see those two guys in the ring. And Bron Breakker was the cause of that because Bron Breakker, who got kicked out of the building earlier in the show, he emerged in the main event and took out not only Dragonov, but Sami Zayn. And we could be looking at a multi-man match for the Intercontinental Championship at SummerSlam between Sami Zayn, Dragonov, and Bron Breakker. So that is also a very interesting development to close Monday Night Raw. Drew McIntyre confronted Adam Pearce. Damian Priest had a face-to-face with Gunther as they set up their World Heavyweight Championship match. We got ladies action tonight. WWE tried to focus on some of the mid-card ladies tonight. All in all, I thought this was a solid episode of Monday Night Raw. Can't forget Sheamus and Pete Dunne. Pete Dunne turned heel tonight. A lot of story happening on Monday night. And I really appreciate it when we got a lot of different things to look forward to on a pro wrestling show, man. So even though the pro wrestling tonight might have been thin, or it might not have been as good as other weeks, I think the story that WWE is telling with multiple different stories across the show is really getting you excited for SummerSlam, because I know it's getting me excited for SummerSlam. So we will go over all of this the best that we can tonight. I'm not really feeling all that hot. I'm a little bit under the weather. I got a splitting headache right now. I'm going to try and power myself through this. And before we get into any of our business tonight, I want to send my thoughts, my love, and my prayers out to all my fans and Jesse in Chicago right now, who apparently are dealing with a tornado or tornado warnings. I didn't really see anything up until the start of this stream about tornadoes. Jesse texted me about 15 minutes ago saying that he and his family are safe. They're in their basement, and they're hiding out until the tornado passes. So hopefully that passes with no damage, or at least as minimal damage as possible. So if you guys are out there watching the stream, you got no power, still watching the stream by some way, I appreciate you guys, and I wish you nothing but safety, thoughts, loves, and prayers to all you guys going out there in Chicago, man. That's a scary, scary situation. So Jesse said he would keep me posted on what's going on there. We'll keep an eye on the phone as he updates us through the evening. But I want to send my well wishes to everybody over in Chicago dealing with that tornado. We are going to get into Monday Night Raw in just a bit, man. I want to talk to you first for a little bit. First of all, I want to thank all you guys for purchasing the new t-shirt, which right now is available on bonfire.com. What the fuck are you guys drinking? Now available on bonfire.com. We sold a nice chunk of them. It's the first ever design for the catchphrase that we have on the show that we start the stream off with. Link is in the description of this very video. Go and check that out. And this is print to sale. So what that means is you don't have to wait for a campaign to end. You order, you pick your size, you enter in your shipping information. Within a couple of days, boom, you got yourself a t-shirt, man. You don't have to wait 14 days, 21 days for the campaign to end, and then they ship them out in bulk. You order, you get it. Simple as that, man. So make sure you guys go get your new t-shirt. What the fuck are you guys drinking? Now available on bonfire.com. Follow me on social media at JD from NY206. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for all notifications. Make sure you guys go check out all the other content on the channel. If you missed anything from last week, it's all on the homepage. The Solid Monster and I will be live once again for another great edition of Tuesday Night Titans, man. We got to make some discussion happen tomorrow. The news is rather thin. So I'm assuming we'll go over the Stephanie Vicaire situation. I know a lot of people didn't really appreciate my upfront honesty about WWE and the fact that they don't give a shit about other promotions. I don't give a fuck where this woman goes. I said it during Forbidden Door and the post show. I can't wait till she makes national television. I don't give a shit she left CMLL. I don't give a shit that she left New Japan. I don't give a shit she didn't go to AEW. I just want her on TV, period, because that's how impressed I was with her. But what I don't understand, and I'm sure we'll talk about this tomorrow, is that there's got to be some sense of loyalty. There's got to be some sense of doing the right thing. She had 3 championships that she could have dropped to whoever the companies that she worked for wanted, and she did not. And no, it's not the same thing as Mercedes and Naomi. Stop. No, it's not. Stephanie didn't work for a fucking rapist who hated women's wrestling. So you can dead that discussion immediately. Fuck out of here. We'll talk about that. We got some major news on AEW potentially moving all into the United States next year. So make sure you guys join us for Tuesday Night Titans tomorrow night. Myself and the Solid Monster, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, right here on the YouTube channel. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for all notifications. Please hit that thumbs up. We got 500 likes. I would love to see as close to 1,000 as possible. If you guys can do that for me. Super chats are open. Get them on in. If you guys want to hang out with me at the end of the show, pop open a couple of cold beverages. Any questions, comments, and concerns, we'll go over them in the super chat portion of the show. As always, towards the end. And tonight's show is sponsored by my great friends over at Blue Chew. BlueChew.com, code JD at checkout for your free sample. And I want to thank them, as always, for being a great friend and a great sponsor to the podcast right here on Off the Script. Start this Monday Night Raw post-show off right at the top with Mommy Rhea Ripley. She is back, and she starts Monday Night Raw off. And we're all expecting her to go over how she's feeling about the last 3 months with Dominik Mysterio running around with Liv Morgan. So she makes her big return, and she is mega over. I know you guys know that Rhea Ripley is over, but Rhea Ripley is fucking mega over. She is as clear as a baby face as ever before. Michael Cole said her return garnered over 50 million views on social media since last week. It is great to have Rhea Ripley back on Monday Night Raw, man. Obviously the Braves aren't really playing good baseball this year. I guess they're playing adequate baseball. They're in second place, which I don't really give a shit about. I would rather them not win the division after last year's fucking disaster. But the Braves are without Ronald Acuna all year. And this is like WWE getting back a all-star player to their women's division with the return of Rhea Ripley. This is like the Braves getting back Ronald Acuna 100%. This division needed a shot in the arm. They needed their star quarterback. They needed their all-star back. Right now, we're at a point where we don't have Rhea Ripley, Asuka, and Becky Lynch. Rhea Ripley's finally back. We're without Becky Lynch and Asuka now. This is a big-time move to get Rhea Ripley back just in time for the biggest show of the summer, for SummerSlam. So it's great to have her back, man. She was sorely missed. Monday Night Raw. Mommy's home. Were the first words out of her mouth. She said there is something on her mind, but it's not Dom. She will deal with him later. She said her mind is on Liv, who's walking around with a belt she never lost. Rhea Ripley said she just pissed her off, so she asked her, walk out here and bring your stupid little self in front of me so I can rip you apart. Out walks Dominik Mysterio, and he's carrying a black rose. He learned from Uncle Eddie when he tried to woo back China. So I love the throwback to Eddie Guerrero with the rose, and he's out there trying to convince Rhea Ripley that nothing is going on and that he's sorry. So he was bombarded with boos. Anytime he tried to speak, nobody wants to hear what Dominic has to say. He entered the ring, and he approached her. He tried to make eye contact, and all of a sudden, Liv Morgan interrupted on the video screen and said she wanted to apologize for her voice. I had a very long weekend in Mexico, and I've been known to be quite the screamer, she said. And then she addressed Dom. Hi there, Daddy Dom. What is she implying here? Liv Morgan, week by week, is instigating all of these young, impressionable men in regards to how she operates when she's away from the ring. She's riding Dominic one week. Now she's bragging that she's quite the screamer in some extracurricular activities. I mean, she's not really leaving much to the imagination now, is she? She's playing her role very well, man. Liv Morgan, I said this with Solid Monster last week on Tuesday Night Titans, and I've said it for a while now. Liv Morgan playing the seductress in this Dominic and Rhea Ripley love triangle has been fucking fantastic. She just comes off so believable. She plays it so well. She's got the right tone of voice. She's got the right body language. She's just got everything going for her, man. Liv Morgan, where she doesn't get it in ring, where she's not telling that story in ring good enough, she's doing it elsewhere, and this is where she shines. So I'm loving everything that's going on here. Liv held up the women's title belt and kissed it. She said by now Rhea Ripley should know she meant it when she said she wanted to take everything from her. She said with Dom, it started out that way, but after spending time with Dom, looking into his eyes, making out with him, it became real to her. She said first of all, if you listen to Dominic or you hear Dominic, none of this ever happened, so who knows who's telling the truth here? Is Dom lying or is Liv lying? I don't know. She said, since she's been gone, Dom has been all hers. So while mommy finally might be home, Liv is finally on top. That's quite the line. In more ways than one, I'm sure. Dominic was shaking his head, and then he looked at Rhea and told Rhea, it's not what it looks like. It's not what it sounds like. Rhea said she knew Liv wouldn't come out here and face her face to face. She said she waited 3 months for this, and she can wait a little bit longer. She challenged her to a match at SummerSlam for my Women's World Championship. She said she's not the same Liv she once knew. She said she helped Dom finally beat his deadbeat dad, and she will beat her too. She said she hoped to see Dominic there. Dominic shook his head and looked over at Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley ignored Dom, turned away, and looked into the camera. And she said SummerSlam won't just be the end of her revenge tour. It'll be the end of her title reign, but it'll be the end of her career also. She dropped the microphone and then said, away from the microphone as she looked into the camera, watch me, which is basically Liv Morgan's catchphrase. So she threw that right back at Liv Morgan. Michael Cole said Liv better have some tricks up her sleeve because mommy is back and she is in a mood. Dominic saw Rhea Ripley leave. He chased her up the aisleway and handed her a flower. She yanked it away and threw it to the side. She wanted nothing to do with Dominik Mysterio and his silly little black rose. This was very simple. Very simple. Very effective, very simple. Everybody wanted to see Rhea Ripley. Everybody got Rhea Ripley. We got Liv and Rhea going back and forth. We got Liv playing the cowardly seductress who knows she has Dominic in her pocket, and she's very confident about what she's done with her revenge tour. In the back, addressing Rhea Ripley. Rhea threw down the gauntlet for SummerSlam. Dominic and his relationship with Rhea Ripley at this point in the show is in limbo. This was a very simple and effective segment. Liv looked strong. Rhea looked dominant as always. And Dominic, who knows where he's going to end up in this entire story. This was very good. And I'm very excited to see what they do. I hope that what Liv has done so far in this story, as far as what she's done right, I hope that translates to this match with Rhea Ripley, and I hope that they actually finish and tell the story at SummerSlam the way that they need to, or at least take the story into the next chapter, because I do not think Rhea Ripley is going to immediately win the championship back from Liv Morgan at SummerSlam. I think that would be stupid. I think WWE needs to keep this going for a little bit longer. I think if Liv Morgan beats Rhea Ripley, that's the right way to go. If Rhea wins the championship, that's basically it for the storyline. That's it. That's what Rhea wants back. That's what Liv has. That's the most important thing in this entire storyline is that championship. If Rhea beats Liv Morgan, what else is there? I would rather Liv win. Don't know how she's going to accomplish that. Maybe Dominic ends up joining Liv and realizes that he doesn't want Rhea anymore. I don't know. It's going to be very up in the air, very unpredictable how creative is going to go about this, which is a good thing. But I have Liv Morgan, by the skin of her ass, retain that women's championship, and it'll probably be a nefarious way or some fuckery that happens at SummerSlam where we get this story moving on to the next chapter. So that's the way I'm envisioning going into SummerSlam. But the match is already set. Rhea Ripley will challenge Liv Morgan for the WWE Women's Championship. And I think we wrap this up, like the chat said, and I mentioned this a couple of weeks back, we wrap this up at Bad Blood. Because the name of the pay-per-view and everything that is happening on television right now, it just has bad blood in mind. There's a lot of bad blood on WWE television right now. We got Liv and Rhea. We got CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. We got Bron Breakker, Sami Zayn, and Ilja Dragonov. Gable and Uncle Howdy. There's a lot of bad blood going on. So the one thing that I do see is that WWE announced this pay-per-view for October 5th in Atlanta, Georgia, and there's a lot of bad blood happening on WWE television at this current time. So keep that in mind. What you see right now is not immediately going to end because we have that pay-per-view looming in October. They show Dominic pursuing Rhea backstage, pleading with her to let him explain. She entered the Judgment Day Clubhouse, and she saw a big bouquet of black roses on the table in the Judgment Day Clubhouse. She looks at it. She asks, "What's this all about?" Dominic says, "I'm just trying to make it up to you." She slammed the door on him, and Dom turned, and there was Damian Priest standing there smiling. He asked if everything was good. Dom said, "Not really." Rhea Ripley then opened the door and threw the entire bouquet of roses at Dominik Mysterio. Dominic then looked at Damian Priest and said, "No, things are not all right. Things are complicated." Priest put his hand on his shoulder, and basically, he didn't even say anything, really. He basically prepped him for this moment for weeks, and he did nothing but smile and relish in the fact that Dominic right now is going through some hard times. Sheamus. He went one-on-one with Bronson Reed, and this was billed as two meaty men going at it. There was a sign in the crowd that said simply meat. And Bronson Reed is a big proponent of pushing meat on social media. So the bell rings, and these guys waste absolutely no time going at each other. These are two big guys going at it. They fire off some right hands, one after the other. Reed whips Sheamus into the corner and lands a right hand on his face. He delivers a variation of sentons to level Sheamus, then connects with a headbutt. Sheamus fires off some forearms, hits a shoulder tackle that sends him onto the apron. He sets up for the 10 beats, but Reed fights his way out and drags Sheamus out to the floor outside. He flies off the apron to take him out. He tosses him over the announce desk, which is becoming a ritual every single week. Everybody is going over the announce desk at least once a week. It's WWE's favorite spot of the year, man. Throw someone over the announce desk or put someone through the announce desk. Sheamus comes back by delivering 10 beats to Reed and celebrates with Pat McAfee on commentary. We go to a commercial break. We come back from the break. Sheamus is throwing right hands at Reed. He lands a series of clotheslines on him. He then gets him up on his shoulders and connects with a white noise, which looked impressive. Those Celtic Warrior workouts seem to be working wonders on Sheamus. After everybody said he looked a little fat, he goes for a pin. Reed kicks out. Reed then delivers a sit-out powerbomb to Sheamus. He goes for a pin of his own, but Sheamus himself kicks out. Reed only gets a 2. Reed drags Sheamus into the corner and ascends to the top. He looks to land a moonsault, but Sheamus moves out of the way and delivers a jumping knee. And that was enough for the 1-2-3. Sheamus gets the victory over Bronson Reed. Sheamus got new theme music tonight. They did away with Too Many Limes, Too Many Limes. His theme music is uploaded on WWE's social media account on Twitter. It's fucking terrible. They tried to give it some identity, but Def Rebel, per always drops the ball, and it fucking blows. What is it with these people? Do they not know who they're writing for? Everything sounds so AI generated. There's no emotion, there's no feeling, there's no fucking identity to anything that they do. I can't fucking stand it. It is the absolute worst side of WWE production, where everybody wants to make fun of AEW for the things they don't do right. The one thing that they do right better than anybody is make theme music. Mikey Ruckus is fucking phenomenal. The guy could give you something within fucking a quick 24-hour time period and make it fucking just meaningful. He'll look at somebody, get a sense of who they are, and then he'll give them a banger tune. Yet here we are with Def Rebel. I don't know what the fuck was wrong. WWE used, as soon as Sheamus came back, they were using that old theme song, and now all of a sudden they wanted to go away from it. Why? WWE needs to hire actual musicians that know how to write with fucking feeling and emotion. The one thing that I can't fucking stand is listening to music that doesn't have any heart or soul. You can instantly tell. It's all sounding the same. It's all sounding the same. WWE has some of the worst theme music in the history of pro wrestling right now. It's the one thing about their product that needs the biggest overhaul. Now, someone told me that Def Rebel's contract with WWE runs out in 2025. I don't know how true or how valid that statement is, but I pray to fucking God that is absolutely the case. Because they need to go ASAP. I wish they were gone yesterday. Can we get CFO money back, please? Or hire someone that Jim Johnston knows personally to write for this fucking company if you can't get him back? Jesus Christ. It's fucking awful. After this Sheamus and Bronson Reed match, Pete Dunne appears and landed a shining wizard on Bronson Reed. Sheamus offered a handshake to Pete Dunne. Pete Dunne walked away and opted again not to look at Sheamus and not to shake it. He slides out of the ring. He wants nothing to do with Sheamus. Sheamus obviously looks at him, says, "Fella, what's going on? What's your problem? What's your problem?" So he turns his back on Pete Dunne. Pete Dunne runs into the ring and levels Sheamus from behind with a forearm to the back of the head. Reed then takes advantage of Pete Dunne's attack on Sheamus and connects on Sheamus with a tsunami splash. I don't know what's going on with Pete Dunne, man. Pete Dunne's without Tyler Bate, and they've opted to turn Pete Dunne into a heel. Is this for the time being until Tyler Bate gets back? Maybe Tyler Bate isn't coming back anytime soon. It says on his Instagram, or he said on his Instagram, that he's going to be out for quite some time. So they may be looking at just revamping Pete Dunne as a solo individual performer here. I don't know what's going on here with Sheamus, but I said last week, maybe it's a situation where, well, he didn't really attack him last week. Maybe it's a situation where Pete Dunne is a little angry at Sheamus for feeling that Sheamus maybe abandoned the Brawling Brutes. Maybe he was upset that Sheamus was leading the group nowhere, gave him this identity of Butch. He didn't allow him to be who he is. After the Brawling Brutes disbanded, he finally found who he was with Tyler Bate, and maybe he wants to be his own man. Maybe he wants to show Sheamus that he's his own man now. But now we got the attack on Sheamus, and it doesn't look like Pete Dunne wants anything to do with Sheamus. He just wants to beat the shit out of him. He doesn't want to sit and have a Guinness with him. He wants to fucking take the Guinness and smash it over his head. Does Pete Dunne get involved with the Intercontinental Championship at some point? I don't know. I think that would be the right move to make here. He's obviously not going for the World Championship. So it looks like Pete Dunne and Sheamus are headed for some sort of back and forth here. I don't know where, when, or how, but Pete Dunne obviously turned heel tonight and is now playing the role of a bad guy, as Sheamus was blasted with a forearm, which led to a tsunami splash by Bronson Reed after he beat Bronson Reed in a one-on-one match tonight. Backstage, we go to Judgment Day again. Priest and Rhea Ripley were catching up, smiling. Priest said it was great to have her back. She says it's been impressive how he's kept everyone together with everything on his plate, being the World Heavyweight Champion. Carlito and Finn Balor were in the background playing WWE 2K24. I don't know if they play anything else, but listen, those controllers in that PS5 in that game from Liv Morgan's coming in quite handy in the Judgment Day Clubhouse. Ripley then looked at Damian Priest and asked, why is Carlito hanging out in their clubhouse? Dominic walked in and asked for a moment with Rhea Ripley. Priest laughed and left. Dominic says to Rhea Ripley, I know I screwed up, but I want you to hear me out. He says he was trying to reach her all week. Rhea asked, well, what about the last 3 months? She asked if he was too busy playing with his new girlfriend to give me a call. She stormed off. So Dominic at this point is 0 for 2. 2 strikeouts for Dominik Mysterio. It looks like Dominic is about to get benched by Rhea Ripley. Carlito, he walks over and said, she looks mad. Thank you for the observation there, Carlito. That is his role in the Judgment Day, man. He's very observant, is Carlito. Go grab him an apple. He seems like he could use one. Ilja Dragonov. He approached Sami Zayn backstage. He says he appreciates the Intercontinental Championship match, but listen, it's not why I saved you last week from Bron Breakker. I did not want a championship match, nor did I want you to give me one. Sami said he asked Adam Pearce to give Dragonov the opportunity. Sami says he's impressed by him, and he, Dragonov, reminds him, Sami, of himself. Sami says it's ugly, and that's how it's supposed to be when you're fighting for your life. He said that's the type of person who deserves a shot at the Intercontinental Championship. He leaned in and told Dragonov, I want you out there tonight to bring your absolute best. Dragonov, very gutsy, very angry, told Sami he better do the same. I'm looking forward to this, or I was looking forward to this. This is a WrestleMania caliber match happening on Monday Night Raw for the Intercontinental title. Love it. Someone that Dragonov has a lot of history with and knows very well, the Ring General, Gunther. We got a video package on Gunther, and I believe this was, correct me if I'm wrong, this was the same one that we saw last week. They just rehashed this and showed it again. Gunther says it wasn't his dream to be in WWE because dreams are a waste of time. He says when he arrived, all he saw were wrestlers with dreams. He says titles were insignificant. Yes, they were. Under Vince McMahon, they were. He said WWE needed someone to show true dominance. He says it was easy to wipe the mat with challengers and shatter dreams of so many. He said his opponents were too preoccupied with emotions. He said within 2 years, he became the longest and greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time. He said wherever he looked in WWE, he saw mediocrity and a sickening lack of prestige, a pinnacle that should be so much more. He said at SummerSlam, the prestige of the World Heavyweight Championship will change forever. You know, someone in my live stream chat last week told me that Gunther was nothing more than an overpushed Vladimir Kozlov. And then I have people arguing with me on social media that Gunther has no attitude, no charisma, he's got no personality, he's dry as a fucking whatever, man. These people are absolutely mentally fried in every sense of the word. Got people arguing with me that he's not a superstar, he doesn't sell tickets, nobody's coming out to see Gunther, he's not a top merch seller. No, that's all right. He doesn't need to be. He doesn't need to be. Triple H slotted Gunther in the role of unstoppable villain. He doesn't need to be the guy that people come to see and pay money to see. He's not going to be the star of the show. He's not going to be the top guy that you build a fucking brand around. He's not going to be the guy that's going to sell fucking 1 million t-shirts. He's not that type of guy. He was never presented to be that type of guy. But do you know what Gunther does better than anybody? Gunther is the final boss of WWE. Before The Rock coined the phrase final boss, there was Gunther. Gunther is the original OG final boss. Gunther's role is as follows. He is the unstoppable foreign villain that will serve as the best partner to whatever babyface challenges him for that world championship. And do you know who's going to be the guy that everybody leans on to try and take that fucking foreign villain down? I'm going to set you guys up for it right now because I mentioned it on Tuesday night with Solid Monster, and I mentioned it on Money in the Bank Saturday when we talked about this. John Cena is going to fight and wrestle Gunther for the right to break the all-time championship record of number 17. Book it. It's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. That story sells itself. When and where it happens, I don't know. I don't do it at WrestleMania. I do Randy Orton versus John Cena at WrestleMania because they never had a one-on-one match at WrestleMania. I would save that for SummerSlam. And yes, Gunther is going to hold the championship for that long. If you think Triple H gave him the Intercontinental Championship for that long and is not going to give him a similar reign with the World Championship, you don't know what you're watching. Gunther is absolutely going to take the championship from SummerSlam all the way into the next year's SummerSlam. Gunther, John Cena, one of the main events for SummerSlam 2025. Book it. You cannot tell a better story than that. That's Gunther's role. Guys like Cena, guys like Cody. That's his role. You'll pay to come see Gunther wrestle the American heroes. That's his fucking role. I love Gunther. Gunther is so fucking good at what he does. He's got this natural sense of sarcasm and villainous aura about him. He's one of the greatest pro wrestlers on the face of the planet. If you told me Gunther is the #1 pro wrestler on the planet right now, I would not argue with you at all. I would not say a fucking word. Period. Gunther is great. This was great. And the face-to-face with Damian Priest was fucking great. We'll get into that in a little bit. Jackie Redmond interviewed Zelina Vega backstage. She asked for her perspective on the return of Rhea Ripley. Zelina said if it was not for Dom, she'd be the women's champion right now. Sonya Deville, Shayna Baszler, and Zoe Stark interrupted. Sonya told her she's not in the front of the line anymore. Zelina said she couldn't really hear anything past her forehead. It's a very New York thing to do. Just immediately go to the wisecracks and to the jokes and not take anything too seriously. Zelina said nothing is standing in the way of her and that title, but she offered to wrestle Sonya Deville tonight. Sonya then said, fine, I'll see you there. And then we get Zelina Vega and Sonya Deville, which didn't last 1 fucking minute. 1 minute. Deville drove Zelina into the mat with her advocate finisher for the 1-2-3. Any more questions? I mean, I don't really know what you guys want me to say in regards to this, man. I mean, it takes me longer to make a cup of coffee than it did to have this wrestling match happen on Monday Night Raw. So Deville wins in 1 minute. Zelina was beat up after the match by this new group led by Sonya Deville, Kaden Carter, Katana Chance, and Lyra Valkyria ran out for the save. What the fuck is going? Jesse, do you hear this shit? What the fuck is going on here, man? You let fucking birds into the goddamn beer garden, man. First it's kids, now it's birds. I don't believe you, man. I don't believe you, man. Every time. Fucking ridiculous. Sonya Deville and her gang of newbies here, this new group, they all bailed when the babyfaces came out to save Zelina. It's seagulls? What is that? Seagulls? What is that? Sounds like kittens. I don't know. Moving on. More Dominik Mysterio and Judgment Day hijinks, man. Dominic asked Damian Priest backstage why he didn't warn him about Rhea Ripley returning. Uh-oh. Priest was not having any of this, man. Priest said, listen, I tried to tell you, but you were too busy with Liv Morgan. He says it's not his fault that he lied to him about breaking things off with Liv. It's not my problem that you lied to me that you spoke to Rhea Ripley. Jay Uso walked up to Priest and asked if it's true that Rhea Ripley is single and ready to mingle. So he basically wants to ask Rhea Ripley out on a date here. He pitched himself to be linked up with Rhea Ripley now. Priest says she might be, as he's laughing, because Dominic is in the fucking doghouse. Dominic told Jay Uso, stay away. Jay then said, tell mommy that I said hi. And Jay leaves. Priest told Dom that he's been to prison, so he has to show Jay who Rhea belongs to. Dom says he was right, and he's going to go ask Adam Pearce and take care of business tonight with Jay Uso. Another strikeout looming for Dominik Mysterio. Jay wants mommy. I can't really blame Jay Uso. Adam Pearce. He was chatting with two referees about a meeting that he wanted them at when Chad Gable all of a sudden interrupted. Gable says he cracked the code and figured out who Uncle Howdy is. He says it's Bo Dallas. No shit. No shit. He demanded to know the details of his meeting with Bo last week and when disciplinary action is going to take place. Pearce says Bo is there tonight, so if you wanted to have a conversation with him, go talk to him yourself. Gable said Pearce was victim blaming and called Pearce pathetic. He says he'd call out Bo Dallas tonight. Michael Cole said he wasn't sure if that would be a wise decision from Master Gable. Now, I don't know if that's a wise decision either. Because where Bo Dallas is, the other four are. Damian Priest. He's out there for a face-to-face with the challenger for the World Heavyweight Champion, and that is Gunther. Damian Priest made his entrance. He called Gunther to the ring. Gunther made his entrance, and they are both face-to-face in the center of the ring right now. This is obviously a setup for their World Heavyweight title match at SummerSlam. He said while he was away, he kept a close eye on Damian Priest and his title reign, said Gunther. He says his title reign has been nothing, and it lacks prestige. He says they are not cut from the same cloth. He says he would like to spare him the embarrassment of losing to him at SummerSlam. So he should just hand him the title and they'll move on. Now, that wouldn't be a very prestigious thing to do. Gunther wants to talk a big game about prestige and emotion and all this other shit. And then he's out there asking Damian Priest, well, your title reign sucks. You're not giving it the prestige that it needs. You just might as well hand it over to me, man. No, it doesn't work that way. So Priest says he wished it was SummerSlam already so I could knock that smirk off your face. He said while Gunther was having everything handed to him in Europe, he was fighting for his life on the streets. He says, if this isn't Gunther's dream and he just wants a paycheck, we don't need you here. Priest says he earned his title, and Gunther is the last person who's going to take it from him. Gunther says he recognized his hardship and street cred, but being on the street is a choice. Don't blame me that your parents decided their offspring wasn't worthy of a good life. Oh, my goodness. He said his qualities and greatness were recognized his whole life. He said WWE called him over and over, begging him to sign a contract with the company. He says they wanted to avoid people like Priest from being champion. He says he will beat Priest at SummerSlam and begin to restore the honor and prestige of the World Heavyweight Championship. He says he doesn't understand why the fans don't like him because they share so much in common with him. He says they'll always be street trash. Priest obviously getting angry here. He said for someone who seems to have so much clarity, it's crazy he doesn't seem to know what's coming at him. He says he lost his title at WrestleMania and he'll lose to him at SummerSlam because he doesn't have heart. He says he'll beat him at SummerSlam and then for the first time in his life, he'll have to fight from the bottom. And then maybe we find out after SummerSlam if you're something more than a boring, conceited, privileged scumbag. They went nose to nose, face to face. They started shoving each other. All of a sudden, Braun Strowman makes his way down to the ring because he had a one-on-one match with Damian Priest here. Gunther starts smiling. He bails from the ring, and we get Priest turning his attention to Braun Strowman for this match. Gunther, he hit the right notes in this promo. I love the fact that he got a little personal with Damian Priest. I'm glad that he just didn't make it about the championship. And I'm glad he didn't make it about just bringing honor and prestige back to the World Heavyweight Championship. I like the fact that he kind of downplayed who Damian Priest is and where Damian Priest had to fight from. And he compared the environments in which they grew up in, coming off as if he is the better person in and out of the ring, belittling Damian Priest. That's where Gunther really shines. That's the type of character that's really going to get underneath the skin of the casual people watching, because if Gunther is portraying himself like that, it's going to be easy to want to boo, and it's going to be easy to want to hate someone who's always out there thinking that he's better than everybody else, man. So not only is he a great pro wrestler, but he's going to go out there and carry himself as if he's better than everybody he's in the ring with, in and out of the ring. I thought he hit on all the right notes. And I like that he got a little personal here. I like that he went a little harder at Damian Priest here, a little bit more heelish. That's exactly what we need. This match now has me a little bit more excited than I was, because I feel like with what these guys said, I'm already interested. Then after this match, we got Gunther coming out and again addressing Damian Priest. And I'm really excited to see what these two guys create from an in-ring aspect now. I honestly think that after everything we get from this point on till SummerSlam, we are going to get the best Damian Priest that we've ever seen in that ring against someone like Gunther. Watch. I think Gunther's going to bring the best out of Damian Priest that we've seen to this date. So I'm looking forward to what they are going to do at SummerSlam, and this was a very good face-to-face, something that was absolutely needed to generate interest. Because right now, I know a lot of people are looking at SummerSlam and thinking, well, the 2 World Championship matches don't really do it for me. They're really flying underneath the radar. They're not really all that in your face. Great. They don't really embody what SummerSlam is for a second biggest pay-per-view of the year. We got Cody and Solo, which we all know is probably going to usher in the return of Roman Reigns. I think everybody's kind of aware of what's going on there. But then we got Priest and Gunther. And a lot of people kind of writing this off as, you know, whether it's because you don't really take it to be a good match, it doesn't match well up on paper, or it's predictable and everybody thinks Gunther's going to win the World Championship anyway. I honestly think that they did a very good job of building interest in a match that a lot of people kind of wrote off going into SummerSlam. So I liked what they did here between Gunther and Damian Priest in this face-to-face. Backstage, before we get to Damian Priest and Braun Strowman, Adam Pearce suggested that Jay wrestled Dominic tonight. Jay was very happy. Bron Breakker then walked up to Adam Pearce and complained that Dragonov is getting an Intercontinental Championship match before he does. Well, he got his at Money in the Bank, but he wants a rematch. Pearce says he lost at Money in the Bank. He said Sami Zayn came to him with respect and asked for this match with Dragonov, so he granted it. He told Bron he could learn from Sami Zayn and learn to be respectful. Bron mocked, applauded, and says he'll destroy everyone in that match. Being that you didn't give me the match, I'm just going to go out there and destroy everybody in it. Pearce then said, no, you're not. Security escort him out of the building. Bron says, listen, I don't need your fucking goons to escort me out of the building. I know where the exit is. So he walked out of the building. Security followed behind and made sure he did leave the building. And Pearce was overly stressed that not only he has to deal with Drew McIntyre, he's got Bron Breakker making idle threats to ruin the main event match for the Intercontinental Championship. He's got his hands full tonight. He's definitely going to need that drink. Damian Priest. He went one-on-one with Braun Strowman. This match went about 8 minutes. Wasn't really all that bad. Damian Priest. We get the two locked up. Bell rings. Priest locks up with Strowman. Shoves Priest into the corner. Priest fires off some strikes. He connects on Strowman with a big roundhouse kick. And fires off some kicks to his hamstring. Strowman dumps Priest across the ring and lands a shoulder block on him. Then clotheslines Priest out of the ring. And he follows him out there. He looks to deliver the Strowman Express. But Priest dumped Strowman over the barricade near the timekeeper's area. Strowman looks very sluggish in the ring. I don't know if it's just me. It looks like Strowman can barely walk out there. I don't know. Back from break. We go to commercial break. We come back from break. Priest rocks Strowman with a pair of forearms. Look to land the third one. Strowman intercepts with a pair of clotheslines and a big splash in the corner, and then sends him crashing down into the mat. So the two look to level each other with chokeslams before Priest connects with a series of roundhouse kicks on Strowman. He runs the ropes. Strowman catches him. Priest escapes, lands a big forearm in the back, follows it up, turns him around with a South of Heaven on the big man Strowman. He's one big son of a bitch-ish Braun Strowman, but he loses here with the chokeslam. Damian Priest wins and gets a solid victory over Braun Strowman. After the match, Gunther marched back out to the ring and lands a huge Gunther-like chop on Damian Priest. Priest unloaded a stiff forearm to Gunther. Gunther comes back with another chop. Priest then lands a shoulder tackle. Gunther retreated. after this little back and forth between the two. Like I said, I'm looking forward to the match between Gunther and Damian Priest. I honestly feel like this is going to be the best Damian Priest that we get in this World Championship run. Gunther is that good. Gunther is so good, he's going to extract the best that Damian Priest has to offer. Watch. I am confident in that. So no matter what you think of the match, predictable, it's not a World Championship match that should be on the top of the bill for SummerSlam. It's going to be a solid match, and I honestly think it's going to be another notch in the belt of Damian Priest that a lot of people have written him off during this title run, but he seemingly has banger after banger after banger. And the next chapter in the story is where he's going to fit into Judgment Day. Because when he loses the World Championship, where is his status and where is his placement in the Judgment Day going to be? That's the next chapter. That's even bigger than what's going on right now with the World Championship, which right now, there really isn't much of him to kind of spread out there on Monday Night Raw with the World Championship. What does he do? If he beats Gunther, what does he do for the World Championship? Who is next in line for the World Championship? Jay Uso? Who's next? Gunther winning the World Championship makes all the sense in the world. Backstage. Maxine Dupree, Otis, and Akira Tozawa are holding a meeting. Chad Gable walks in and assumes that they were talking about him. Maxine explains that they were not talking about him. Xavier Woods walks in, and Dupree tells him with Kofi Kingston sidelined for a few weeks, Otis and Tozawa would be happy to provide with him some backup against Final Testament. Gable got angry and then asked Otis if they were really going to tell Woods rather than him, and Otis tells him, yes, they are. Chad Gable's got nobody. Or does he? Back at ringside, Kaden Carter, Katana Chance, and Lyra. Little birds, right? Fucking Jesse unleashed the Bronx Zoo inside the beer garden, man. Lyra, Valkyria make their way down to the ring. Shayna Baszler, Zoe Stark, and Sonya Deville follow Shayna and Zoe against Kaden Carter and Katana Chance. I will say, I don't really give a shit about any of this. But I know a hard-worked match when I see one. And all four of these ladies worked their asses off. They tried and tried and tried to make this the best that it could be. And I appreciate that. I just don't care. I don't. I don't care about factions. I don't care about teams. I don't care about the tag team titles. I don't. And that's all this is setting up for. WWE is trying to force factions and teams to get involved with each other because they don't have any solid tag teams to challenge the tag team champions. And I know there's a report going around that WWE is trying to maybe introduce some mid-card titles to the women's division. The report said that a United States Championship and an Intercontinental Championship could be coming to the women's divisions for both Raw and SmackDown. Now, I think adding 2 more titles is a little bit overkill. I think maybe adding 1 title to see how it works out is probably the way that it should go. It's probably best for business, just 1 title. And I said this back during WrestleMania season. WWE introduced the NXT Women's North American Championship, and I said it on Twitter then when it was introduced that WWE is probably going to give way to maybe adding a mid-card championship to the women's division on the main roster, being that they just added a singles championship secondary title to the NXT women's title on NXT. This was announced at TakeOver or Stand and Deliver. It's not TakeOver. NXT Stand and Deliver, WrestleMania weekend. How much more important and how much better would this segment be if this was for an Intercontinental title? If there was a story surrounding the Intercontinental title? Right now, WWE's dilemma is they got a lot of talented women. And a lot of talented women that don't factor into being world championship at all anytime soon, or if ever. Zoe Stark is not going to be a WWE Women's World Champion. Shayna Baszler is not going to be a Women's World Champion. Katana Chance, Kaden Carter are not going to be Women's world champions. Lyra Valkyria at this point, not going to be a women's world champion. Kiana James, who just got called up. That's had maybe 5 minutes of in-ring action since she got called up at the end of April. She's not going to be a women's world champion. But you add a United States or an Intercontinental title, in this case it would be an Intercontinental title, to Monday Night Raw, how much different would the perception be for Zoe Stark, who's talented, to win an Intercontinental Championship? Dakota Kai, Io Sky, Asuka. I think a mid-card title or a secondary title in the women's division is probably the way to go. Now, I don't think adding 2 is the best idea, because right now the rosters are still very thin if you really want to think about it. Adding 1 on SmackDown is going to just oversaturate the brand with titles and not enough women's division. I think if WWE wants to add 1 to the 3-hour show, they want to add 1 to Monday Night Raw, I think that's the way to go. And right now we operate with the tag team titles being the least important of the titles in the women's division. They're a fucking waste of time. I mean, I'd burn them to the ground. I'd get rid of them. It's a waste of time. WWE only wants to treat them as important when they want to treat them as important. Nobody gives a shit. They've gotten nobody over. Those titles are absolutely fucking worthless. There's nobody in that division that's going to help those titles reach the status of prestige that they need it to be. But I feel like adding a mid-card championship, at least one of them for now, to give it a test run would be a lot better off. Seeing these tag team matches go nowhere and this story go nowhere, it makes you feel like the introduction of a secondary title would probably be best on Monday Night Raw. I just don't care. So the bell rings. Baszler and Kaden Carter lock up. Baszler landed a strike on Kaden. Stomps on her hand. The submission magician is Shayna Baszler. Carter tripped Baszler, delivers a kick to her head, tags in Katana Chance. Chance and Carter fire off some kicks and stomps on Shayna. Zoe tags in, delivers a kick to, I believe it was Kaden's head. So Chance is in there. She looks to land a Hurricanrana on Zoe. Stark catches her. Chance escaped with an arm drag and a crossbody out of the corner, but Zoe rolls through. Chance takes down Stark and drop kicks her into the corner and then tags back in Kaden Carter. Carter monkey flips Chance into Starks, or Zoe Stark, not Starks. Stark, and then dumps her. And Baszler is outside the ring trying to interfere. Carter then helps Chance fly to level Baszler and Stark. We go to a commercial break. We come back from break. Zoe tags in, keeps Carter in from tagging Chance. Carter still manages to tag Chance in anyway, and Katana connects with a Hurricanrana. She fires off some stomps on Zoe in the corner before Zoe rocks her with a knee. Baszler tags in, delivers a jumping knee to Zoe Stark in the corner, and goes for the pin. 1, 2, 3. That was actually, no, I'm jumping ahead here. She goes for a pin. Chance kicks out. Baszler locks in a cross arm breaker on Katana Chance, but Chance makes it to her feet to escape. She delivers a modified moonsault to Baszler, tags into Carter. Carter and Chance double teamed on Baszler, and Chance tags back in. Chance goes to the top. DeVille got her attention. Lyra pulls DeVille off the apron. Zoe tags back in, delivers a missile dropkick to Chance off the top rope. Zoe then throws Chance over to Baszler, and Baszler connects with a jumping knee, and Zoe then pins Chance for the win. What does it mean? Like I said, the ladies tried their best. They really tried to make it a hard-fought match, but at the end, nobody gives a shit. Nobody cares. And I don't know whose fault that is. But WWE is trying to get these women some television time to give them the opportunity to get over, and I don't think that it's working. I don't. I just don't think anybody genuinely cares about these women. And that's a product of lack of story and just throwing them out there, expecting people to care, because all 4 of these women are very good. You're going to need more than that to sell me on why I should care about fucking Zoe Stark, Shayna Baszler, and Sonya Deville. Judgment Day's Clubhouse. We go back there after this match is over. And apparently, if my iPad wants to work, there we go. Dominik Mysterio is trying to explain to Rhea Ripley that he got himself a match against Jay Uso after he overheard him talking about Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley questioned why Dominic is picking a fight with Jay Uso, and Dominic tells her, well, listen, I could go get the match canceled. I don't need to wrestle Jay Uso. I was just trying to make it up to you. Ripley then calls Dominic a coward and says, well, you don't have to cancel the match. What are you, a coward now? Dominic tells her that he wants to show Jay and the world that she belongs to him. So Dominic tells Rhea that he wants to show the world that she belongs to him. She obviously did not like this comment, and this makes Dominic now 0 for 4 on the night. I don't know what this kid is doing, but this guy is fucking up all over the place, and this guy seems like he's got a permanent fucking vacation in the doghouse. She stormed off, and that was looking like it was the straw that broke the camel's back here for Rhea Ripley and Dominik Mysterio. It doesn't look like he's going to get out of the doghouse with that comment there. Adam Pearce. He's in the ring, and he introduced Drew McIntyre. This was going to be very interesting because CM Punk is not in the building in Dayton, Ohio. McIntyre is suspended. He was brought out here because Adam Pearce welcomed him to the show to maybe lift his suspension because of what had happened at Money in the Bank. He was all smiles. McIntyre was smiling for the first time in months. McIntyre was smiling. He makes his way down to the ring, and fans immediately start to chant CM Punk, CM Punk. Pearce told McIntyre that they are on the verge of something special. He says he wants the match, and people want the match, and he knows Punk wants the match. He asks McIntyre, how badly do you want this match with CM Punk? McIntyre says he wants it more than anything in the world. Pearce says he needs to leave the emotion, the pettiness, and the irrational, unprofessional behavior behind him. He told McIntyre to look at him when he's talking to him. So Adam Pearce got a little stern here. Pearce told McIntyre if he can do that, he's ready to do business. McIntyre says he had to watch from home last week, and that's on him because he got himself suspended. He said the only opinion that matters is that of the WWE Universe. He asked the fans if they were ready for him against CM Punk at SummerSlam. Fans then cheered and chanted CM Punk again at Drew. McIntyre told Pearce, I'd like to make this official. Pearce said he needed McIntyre to do just one more thing for him tonight before he can go and do that. Pearce called 2 referees into the ring. 2 referees that Pearce spoke to earlier because they were treated and mishandled poorly by Drew McIntyre. McIntyre is looking at these 2 referees, and Adam Pearce told McIntyre, I want you to apologize for what you did because these 2 referees didn't deserve what happened to them courtesy of you. McIntyre looked very angry at this point. Came out all smiles, and now he's just completely, you just see him deteriorating right before our very eyes. He looks at Adam Pearce and says, why would I apologize to them? Pearce says they are referees. They put their bodies on the line every time they step into the ring. McIntyre says Adam Pearce was being unreasonable. Pearce says they got heard, so all he's asking for is McIntyre to look into the eyes of these referees and apologize. That's it. And I'll give you what you want. Sounds like a fair deal to me. McIntyre walked up to them as fans start to chant, "Say you're sorry." McIntyre put his head down, held up the microphone, took a deep breath, and said, "No. Why would I apologize to them when all the referees have done is screw me around?" He began to rant about Punk's actions against him. McIntyre said Pearce deserves that elbow he gave him at Money in the Bank, and he should be on his hands and knees apologizing to him. He says he'd never accept an apology from CM Punk. He says everyone is trying to screw him. Pearce then said, if McIntyre won't apologize, you are still suspended. McIntyre stopped and turned back around. When the referees approached him, he shoved both of them down. All of a sudden, Seth Rollins came out before McIntyre could go after Adam Pearce, because that's exactly what he was going to do. Seth ran into the ring, and he brawled with McIntyre. Says he went for a stomp. McIntyre rolled out of the ring. Seth called McIntyre to get back in the ring as fans were singing Seth's song as Drew retreated from the ring. Michael Cole said McIntyre is still suspended, so they need to get him out of the building because he's not allowed to be here anymore. Drew pushed past security. He ripped a fan sign up the aisleway and headed to the back, frustrated. This was fucking great. I thought this was awesome. The look on McIntyre's face at the beginning of this segment, where he was all smiles. He thought he was going to get his suspension uplifted. And then Adam Pearce pulled the rug out from underneath him and basically baited him out there because all he wanted to do was have McIntyre apologize for his actions. How could you expect Drew McIntyre to willingly apologize for what his behavior has been when Adam Pearce and the WWE honestly have done nothing to CM Punk at all? They have not punished CM Punk. They have not reprimanded CM Punk. They have not fined or suspended CM Punk. CM Punk shows up when he's supposed to be out, when he's supposed to be rehabilitating, and he's out there costing Drew McIntyre a WWE Championship at WrestleMania, a WWE Championship at Scotland, Money in the Bank, and Clash of the Castle, and at Money in the Bank in Toronto by having him win the briefcase, and then McIntyre cashes in and Punk is right there, screwing the championship, cash in the process 3 different times. All the while in Scotland, CM Punk was willingly given a referee shirt and allowed to go out there and basically screw Drew McIntyre in front of his home country. If you think about it, does Drew McIntyre, does he stand there and just give an apology to Adam Pearce and the WWE referees? I don't know. That is a very difficult thing to do, to ask Drew McIntyre of. You cannot ask Drew McIntyre to say, I'm sorry, after he has been screwed time and time and time again. Now, I don't know where they go. First of all, I want to make it well known that Punk and McIntyre, though it should be set, the stage should be set for SummerSlam. We don't know if Punk is going to be cleared. I would be shocked if he's not cleared. But we have not gotten any confirmation on CM Punk being given clearance to resume in-ring activity yet. We don't know. I would assume that the match is set for SummerSlam, or at least on the table. It's in the plans. It's going to happen. But the fact is, going into next week, we are 2 weeks away from SummerSlam. I don't know if WWE is going to make this an official match. I don't. That's the vibe that I get. McIntyre's still suspended. He's not going to apologize. And the only reason, Pearce wants him to apologize is because Pearce knows that Punk versus McIntyre at SummerSlam is big business. But McIntyre's not going to give Pearce what he wants. So how do we get this match? Something needs to be done in the next 2 weeks that brings Adam Pearce to a point where he does not want anything to do with these two men right now at SummerSlam. So I don't know how they go about it, but the match is happening at SummerSlam. You're not going to have SummerSlam happen without McIntyre and CM Punk in the ring one-on-one. But how do we get there? Something has to happen on next week's show or the week after on the go-home, where we get the match and we get an unsanctioned match. WWE, Adam Pearce are not going to sanction this match, but actions have consequences. Seth Rollins was out there as a deterrent to save Adam Pearce from Drew McIntyre. Seth Rollins is not going to be added to make this a triple threat match. He does not belong there. He does not fit into the overall vibe of what we've been building between Punk and McIntyre since January. But I could see Seth Rollins stepping up to Adam Pearce saying, sign the match. Make the match official. Have it go unsanctioned. You have nothing to do with it. I'll take care of it. And he enlists himself as the man who oversees Punk and McIntyre. He oversees the match as a special enforcer or a special guest referee. Actions have consequences. It's the last thing he told CM Punk. Actions have consequences. Drew McIntyre's actions landed him suspended. Drew McIntyre's actions landed him not on the SummerSlam card with the guy that he wants. Basically, he said he wants Punk's head on a stake, on a spike tonight. Seth Rollins will not be actively competing at SummerSlam. Seth Rollins will be the special guest referee for this CM Punk and Drew McIntyre match, which, if it's made official, it's because Seth Rollins is going to ask Adam Pearce to make it official. If it's not official, it will be unsanctioned, and it will be Rollins as the special guest referee because Adam Pearce wants nothing to do with it. He wants none of his referees involved. He wants none of his officials anywhere near these two. So Rollins will take that opportunity upon himself. That's what's going to happen here. So the fact that we got all of this playing out, meticulous, strategic in everything that you saw tonight. McIntyre's body language, smiling, just diving into that anger and that obsession over Punk, not wanting to apologize to Adam Pearce, once again putting his hands on officials. Pearce wants none of this. This is not going to be a sanctioned match. And that's only going to add to the fucking volcanic heat that these two have for each other at SummerSlam. Love it. It should happen at SummerSlam, and I'm pretty confident that it will. Dominik Mysterio. He went one-on-one with Jay Uso. Before we got that match, we saw a clip of Michael Cole and Pat McAfee, or Pat McAfee and Michael Cole at ringside, and then they threw it to a clip of Pat McAfee in studio for his Pat McAfee show, where apparently the Wyatt Six hijacked the program. McAfee says he just had to say 2 words. Cole says he didn't even have to mean it. Cole said Seth was screwed at Money in the Bank. They talk about Money in the Bank. And then all of a sudden, they threw a clip to Pat McAfee's show earlier in the day where the Wyatt Six left a box on set for him. And in the box was another VHS tape. So the VHS tape was delivered to the truck earlier in the show. And the VHS tape was played here. And the video aired, and it featured Eric Rowan sitting in a chair as Uncle Howdy, who was not seen in this VHS, was heard off screen asking questions to Eric Rowan. Rowan said the last few years have been very, very, very hard on him. He said he used to have a family, and they were unstoppable and always had each other's backs. He said in one day, his whole world changed. I lost a brother. And he started getting very emotional, and his voice started cracking as if he was about to cry. He said the person who believed most in him was gone. It knocked me on my ass. I'm not going to lie. He says when that happens, you have to get back up and keep moving. He said then, when he thought he had everything going, his other brother was gone too. So he referenced both Brody and Bray here in this VHS vignette. He began to cry at this point. He says it meant he had no more family and he had no more will to live. He says he fell down a well and he couldn't get out. Why would I? Why would I want to? He said he felt catatonic and numb to everything that was going on in the world. He had nothing to live for. He then asked, who would miss him? Who would miss Rowan if he was gone? Uncle Howdy handed him a sheep mask that he used to wear when he was in the Wyatt family, being led by Bray Wyatt. Uncle Howdy asked Rowan, this mask, how does it make you feel? Rowan looked at it and said, this mask, it gives me hope. He said that mask was handed to him when he needed the most help. He says he had a purpose in life, and that was to help those like himself. He said it reminds him of that beacon of hope. We are going to take our broken hearts and make some beautiful art. And that's the way the segment came to a close. I love the fact that we are now venturing off into getting the other members of the Wyatt Six in sit-down interviews, being interviewed by Uncle Howdy, going over why. Going over who they are. If you are a fan of the product, you know who Eric Rowan is. But where has Eric Rowan been? What is Eric Rowan going through? What has he gone through with the death of Brody and the death of Bray? We got that in this vignette. This was real. It was emotional. And you saw a man bear his true feelings about the situation tonight in regards to Bray Wyatt and why he is now a part of the Wyatt Six, led by Uncle Howdy. That's all we needed. So now we got Bo and we got Eric Rowan. So this gives me hope that WWE is going to venture off and do other VHS vignettes in regards to the other members of the Wyatt Six. Nikki Cross, Dexter Lumis, and Joe Gacy. When those come, I don't know. We're 2 weeks away from 2.5 weeks from SummerSlam. We're not going to get 3 VHS tapes in 2.5 weeks. I'll get to that point in a second. But I do feel that WWE owes it to the audience to give us a glimpse into all of these characters and answer the very important question of why. I wasn't sure they were going to do that. I thought we were just going to get Uncle Howdy and Bo Dallas telling us his vision and why he assembled all these lost souls and created the Wyatt Six. But hearing from everybody else makes that connection so much deeper. Hearing from everybody individually gives us a closeness to all the characters and a full investment from us to the group itself. So I love the fact that we got Eric Rowan here because now, like I said, it gives me hope that we're going to see the rest of the group also sit down in these therapy sessions with Uncle Howdy. Love it. This was great stuff. All of these VHS tapes have been great. I love the way they've been shot. Some of the best things about Monday Night Raw. Dominic and Rey Mysterio. This went 9 minutes. Jay made his entrance, and he's out there doing the yeet. Pat McAfee's got a fucking yeet foam finger. He's doing the yeet on the announce table. Dominic wasted no time. Blindsided Jay from behind in the ring. The bell rings. Dominic landed a drop kick as soon as the bell rang. Right hands on Jay. Jams his boot into the back of Jay's neck. He's in complete control here. Stomps on him, fires off some shoulders into the midsection in the corner, takes him down with the submission. Dominic delivers 3 amigos to Jay Uso. Goes for a pin, Jay kicks out. Dominic dropkicked Jay into the ropes and dialed up for the 619. Jay ducks out, low bridges Dominic out of the ring. He looked to fly, but Dominic sends him crashing into the ring post. We go back to a commercial break. Come back from the break, Jay is on the offensive. He starts firing off some right hands on Dominic, follows it up with a super kick, delivers an open hand strike, followed up with an enziguri, connects with a hip attack, and ascends to the top rope for the Uso splash. Liv Morgan all of a sudden pulls Dominic out of the ring before Jay can deliver the splash, and Dominic starts asking, what is she doing out here? He looks to send her to the back. Jay drop kicks Dominic on top of Liv Morgan, and Dominic lands again on top of Liv Morgan, just like he was last week. All of a sudden, she flips Dominic over and she's sitting on top again, just like in the first week all this happened. So she's sitting out on top of Dominic in the aisleway. Rhea Ripley sees this. Her music hits. She comes storming out. She storms down to the ring. Liv Morgan, in very high heels, desperately tries to run away, and she runs away over the barricade and runs into the crowd and escapes Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley looks at Dominic and orders Dominic to get back in there and finish Jay Uso off. As soon as he does, Jay Uso is waiting with the spear. Jay Uso has a fucking awful spear. I don't know why he's added the spear to his moveset, but he needs to eliminate it from his moveset immediately. His spear is fucking terrible. Don't even know why he does it at this point if it looks that bad. Spear goes up top. Uso splash. Jay Uso beats Dominik Mysterio, and Rhea Ripley is not happy. Back from break, we're backstage. Backstage, Rhea Ripley and Dominic are in the back. Ripley tells Dominic, listen, Dom Dom. She called him Dom Dom. So he might be on the right track to getting back in the good graces of Rhea Ripley. Listen, Dom Dom, I want you to understand that I don't belong to anyone, but you belong to me. He then hands him, or she hands him the black rose and then walks off. So it looks like Dominic is out of the doghouse after going 0 for 4. She called him Dom Dom and basically told Dominic that he belongs to her. Now, I wonder if Dominic is going to be a fucking idiot after getting back, at least right now, coming out of he's got 1 foot out of the doghouse. I wonder if Dominic is going to be that fucking stupid to once again do wrong by Rhea Ripley. Because by all accounts, what Rhea saw tonight was not Dominic's fault. It was not. She saw everything that Dominic tried to do tonight. She saw the roses. She saw the attempts at apology. She saw how nervous he was. She saw that Jay drop-kicked Dominic on top of Liv, and then Liv took advantage of the situation. Rhea saw all this. So from my vantage point, Rhea forgave, in her own way, Dominik Mysterio. Now, is he stupid enough to take that and fuck it up once again? That's what's going to be the most interesting point of all this. Is he going to do something at SummerSlam to once again fuck this up? So right now, it looks like Dom has his mommy once again. Chad Gable. He demands Bo Dallas meets him in the ring. So, I was wondering how this was all going to be set up. And I think we got a good understanding as to where we may be going into SummerSlam here. Gable's out there gloating that he solved the greatest mystery in all of WWE and announced that Uncle Howdy is really Bo Dallas. He says he cracked the case, and then he demanded Bo Dallas to come to the ring so they can resolve their issues. Dallas makes his way out, no music. All of a sudden, when Bo Dallas is walking down the aisleway, the Creed brothers, Brutus and Julius Creed, blindside Bo Dallas on the ramp and blast him from behind. They're dressed in suits just like Chad Gable is. They beat him up in the aisleway. Brutus sent Dallas crashing into the barricade. Julius threw Bo Dallas into the ring post. And then they dump him into the ring. Gable and the Creeds are standing tall over Bo Dallas. Bo begins to laugh, very eerie. And the Creeds hold Dallas in place as Gable is firing off forearms on top of him. The Creeds double-team Dallas. Gable connects on a German suplex that lands Bo Dallas right on top of his head. Bo Dallas is now laying in the corner, and once again, he starts to eerily laugh in the corner. And Gable asked him, "What are you laughing at?" Dallas tells Gable, "There you are." And then the lights go out in the typical Wyatt 6 fashion. The Wyatt 6 music begins to play. We got the one piano note. Smoke starts to fill the ring. We see the door in the aisleway with the illuminating light. Through the door walks Sister Abigail, Mercy the Buzzard, Ramblin' Rabbit, and Huskus the Pig, which is Joe Gacy, Eric Rowan, Nikki Cross, and Dexter Lumis. Their silhouettes are present on the stage, and they come closer as Sister Abigail is holding the lantern. They walk down the aisleway. The Wyatt 6 surround Gable and the Creeds in the ring. The Creeds eventually retreat, as does Gable. Bo Dallas gets up out of the corner and falls to his knees, just like Bray used to do. And the rest of the Wyatt 6 surround him as the segment comes to a close. Now, I mentioned earlier that Eric Rowan and the VHS tape was a great follow-up to the last 2 VHS tapes we got about Uncle Howdy interviewing or sitting in a therapy session with Bo Dallas. I hope this leads to the other members also getting VHS tapes, telling their side of the story as to why they are in the Wyatt 6. There's 2.5 weeks till SummerSlam. We got Dexter Lumis, Joe Gacy, and Nikki Cross left explaining why. Now, I don't think that's going to happen because we don't really have a full introduction as to who these people are yet. We can get VHS tapes or a VHS tape next week, and we can get a third member sit down with Uncle Howdy, and then we can get 3 members that you know physically on screen who's behind the mask set up for a match going into SummerSlam. We can do that. Or we can do what I predict and what I think is going to happen. I think we get Chad Gable versus Bo Dallas at SummerSlam. I think that's where we go. Now, either way, I think it's going to be a big-time match for Chad Gable. But the Creeds and Chad Gable, the biggest part of all this is that this is finally now a thing. We've been predicting this. We've been asking for this. We thought this was going to come way sooner than it did. Chad Gable and the Creeds are finally together. And I'm very happy to see that. And I like the way that it came about because Gable was trying to give Otis the opportunity to come to him, and Gable wanted to be aligned with his former family, but they didn't want anything to do with Chad Gable. And tonight, when he went to Otis to Gable, and he thought that they were talking about him, they were instead talking about Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods wanting to be backup for Xavier against Karrion Kross and the AOP. So Gable was left with nobody. So at this point, Gable was desperate. He was finally pushed to the brink of finding help. And he had help. He had backup all along because the teases that we've seen, he's been talking to the Creeds. He's been interacting and mingling with the Creeds for weeks. So the fact that it finally took shape tonight, we've got it. And the lead-up was something that we've been seeing for several weeks now. So I love it. I don't think the Creeds and Chad Gable against the Wyatt 6, you don't want to really put the Creeds in that situation to put them alongside Gable and have them immediately lose to the Wyatt 6. I don't see how this is going to work out in any way, shape, or form positively for the Alpha Academy. I don't. No matter who you get in there with the Wyatt 6, it's going to be an automatic loss. But I would much rather see Gable in a one-on-one match with Uncle Howdy. For now. I think we save the multi-man match. To me, the way that I envision it, I save the multi-man match for when everybody is on screen as far as the Wyatt 6 is concerned, and you get a better sense as to who they are and why they are there. We've got it with Rowan. We got it with Bo. Who's next? Are we going to get Gacy next? Are we going to get Dexter Lumis next? We could get that in the next 2.5 weeks, but it might be cutting it close to getting a 6-man tag team match at SummerSlam. I would much rather do Uncle Howdy versus Bo Dallas at SummerSlam and get that one-on-one match out of the way, as I feel like that's the bigger deal. That's just the way that I envision it. But I thought this segment was great. I love the fact that they sent Bo Dallas out there. I love the fact that everybody, like, this is Uncle Howdy. I love the fact that they're humanizing who's underneath the mask. They don't need to be fucking hiding in the shadows all the time. They don't need to be all spooky and eerie all the time. They don't need to be wearing the masks and the costumes all the time. I want to see them outside of their personas, and I want to see them in their human form. It's great. I thought this was a great segment, and I'm finally on board with Chad Gable now and the Creeds. I'm glad we finally got that. Everybody's been excited about that. Everybody's been anticipating that. The WWE can use another top-tier tag team. I think Gable leading the Creeds is going to do wonders for their tag team run. All in all, this was a great segment. Sami Zayn. It's main event time. Sami Zayn defends the Intercontinental Championship against Ilja Dragonov. This is a WrestleMania caliber match that we got in the main event of Monday Night Raw. Now, Bron Breakker was kicked out of the venue earlier. Adam Pearce kicked Bron Breakker out of the venue because he threatened to interfere in this match. The bell rings after the formal introductions. They take turns locking one another in submission holds before Sami Zayn drops a chop across Dragonov's chest. Dragonov responds with one of his own, fires off a right hand on him to follow up. Zayn dumped Dragonov out of the ring and delivers a springboard moonsault onto Dragonov. We go to a commercial break. Dragonov, back from the break, lands a boot on Zayn in the corner. Zayn responds with a series of right hands on Dragonov and then takes him out with a clothesline. Dragonov then rocks Zayn with a big knee and looks for his Constantine special. But Zayn sees him coming and counters that into a blue thunder bomb. He goes for the pin. Dragonov kicks out. Zayn charges at Dragonov. Dragonov intercepts him with a big boot of his own. He looks to land an H-bomb. Zayn catches him with a boot and goes for a cover. He only gets a 2 count. Dragonov kicked out. Zayn connects with another forearm. Dragonov responds with a kick and a running knee. He then delivers an H-bomb to Zayn on the outside off the apron. So after that, they get back in the ring. Dragonov flies off the top. He goes up top. He lands a senton. Zayn got the knees up. Went to go cover Dragonov. Dragonov kicks out, and Dragonov gets back up. He fires off some shots on Sami Zayn from the apron. Zayn sent him crashing to the floor with a massive haluva kick. Now, both guys are on the outside. All of a sudden, Bron Breakker appears. We got the big aerial shot. He shows up, jumping over the barricade. He immediately runs around the ring with the big aerial shot, shooting all this from above. And he delivers a spear onto Dragonov, causing the disqualification. Sami Zayn obviously loses here by disqualification, and Dragonov wins because of the attack by Bron Breakker. After the match, Zayn fires off some right hands on Breakker. They start brawling. He sends his face bouncing off the announce desk and gets him back in the ring. Breakker catches him with a big overhead suplex and runs the ropes back and forth, and delivers a massive spear and stands tall over Sami Zayn as Dayton, Ohio is barking. The pound was out, barking at Bron Breakker as Bron Breakker stands tall over Sami Zayn as Monday Night Raw comes to a close. So it looks like we may be getting a triple threat match for the Intercontinental Championship going into SummerSlam. I like the fact that Triple H is including Dragonov in this because I feel like Sami Zayn losing to... I feel like WWE wants to protect Sami Zayn. I feel like they want to push Bron Breakker to the title, but they don't immediately want to beat Sami Zayn. I feel like with the triple threat match, it would give WWE the best of both worlds. I feel like with WWE not wanting to beat Zayn, they don't have to beat Zayn. They could take the title off of him by Bron Breakker pinning Dragonov at SummerSlam, which I know will open up a whole new discussion that Dragonov isn't being treated fairly on Monday night. But Dragonov, he'll be fine. I'm not worried about Dragonov and what Triple H thinks of Dragonov on Monday night. It's all about Bron Breakker right now. It's not Dragonov's time. I feel like we're headed towards a triple threat match. Though I would not mind Bron Breakker beating Sami Zayn one-on-one. They might want to keep this thing going well after SummerSlam, which is why they might do a triple threat match and have Bron Breakker pin Dragonov instead of pinning Sami Zayn so they can continue that after SummerSlam. I just feel like that's the way that they're going to go. And I think everybody's going to get what they want in the end. WWE won't pin Sami. Bron Breakker will be the champion, and everybody can live in a happy, harmonious WWE world. I thought Monday Night Raw was very good tonight. Though we got a lack of in-ring wrestling, we got Sheamus and Bronson Reed, which was fine. We got Sami Zayn versus Dragonov, which was a little tease for what they could do. Wasn't anywhere close to what they are capable of. But we got a lot of different stories being fleshed out on Monday Night Raw, man. It was a story-heavy show. And I can never turn my head away from those types of shows. I can never sit here and tell you it was a bad show based off that. Because the one thing that we need is story. Without story, we don't care. And SummerSlam absolutely needs it because it's going to be the culmination of a lot of these stories taking place at SummerSlam. And a lot of these stories are just getting started. A lot of these stories are going to shift into the next gear and go into the next chapter. So SummerSlam is just a background. A lot of what you're seeing right now, a lot of this is going to continue past SummerSlam, going into Berlin and going into Bad Blood. I thought Monday Night Raw delivered on the story side. If you're expecting a heavy pro wrestling show, this was not it tonight. It wasn't. But the stories, if you're big into story like I am, you walked away very satisfied with Raw from Ohio. Thank you guys very much for all your support, man. We're going to try and get through these super chats and then get the hell out of here tonight. I appreciate you guys joining me here on the Monday Night Raw post for July 15th, 2024. Tonight sponsored by my great friends over at Blue Chew. BlueChew.com. Code JD at checkout. Make sure you guys use that promo code and get yourself a free sample on me. All you got to do is pay the $5 shipping and handling. Blue Chew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but at a fraction of the cost, and it comes in a chewable tablet. You know, when Damian Priest says, all rise, I'm going to need you guys to have that same mentality in the bedroom. It should be it shouldn't be your judgment day in the bedroom. Is that the way it goes? You don't want it to be your judgment day, man. Nobody wants to be judging you. But Blue Chew, BlueChew.com, you're going to consult with one of their online medical providers. And once you are approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. No questions asked. The tablets are made in the USA. They're prepared and shipped directly to you in a very discreet package. And the best part is it's all done online. That means no visits to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations, and no waiting in line at the pharmacy. You can take them anytime, day or night. Be ready whenever the opportunity arises, man. Plan ahead. And Blue Chew wants you guys to be better in the sack. Discover all your options at BlueChew.com. Code JD at checkout. $5 shipping and handling. BlueChew.com. And I want to thank them for once again sponsoring the podcast right here on Off the Script. The judgment-free zone. Yes. Who do we got? Captain Solo. He's the first one in line at the venue tonight, man. Captain Solo with a $5 super chat. You know, before I get to Captain Solo, Oscar, JD, I bought the tattoo lotion by The Rock. Let me tell you something, Oscar. That's Papa Tui by The Rock. He's got his own line of men care products. Let me tell you something, guys. The Rock's products are really fucking good, man. I bought myself the coconut-scented shampoo and conditioner, man. I love it. It is so good. It smells so good. So, highly recommended from me, man. If you guys see it in Target, it's got a huge display in Target. You walk in Target, you see The Rock's fucking big mug right there on the signage. Papa Tui. Some good stuff. He's got deodorant. He's got soaps, beard oil, creams, tattoo lotion, shampoo. He's got it all, man. Captain Solo with a $5 super chat. I got a question for you. A very important question. Do you believe in Joe Hendry? Yes, I do. I actually make Joe Hendry the TNA World Champion at Slammiversary. Michelle with a $2 super chat. I bet it's Seth Drew at SummerSlam. Winner gets Punk. No. There's a small chance of that happening, but no. Studa Beats. $10 super chat. JD, your music taste is great. But if you need podcast music, I got you, brother. You made me a wrestling fan again. Would love to contribute my talent to your stuff, dog. Just need an email. OTS for life. Well, what type of music we talking about, Studa Beats? You know the type of music I listen to. What are we rocking with? Tony Brown with a $5 super chat. Mommy's cake is baked to perfection, JD. Yes. Yes, Tony Brown. Rhea Ripley is a very lovely woman. MGM Bolin with a $4.99. Starting to get tired of lack of reaction for Dragonov. Bro is incredible. Also, Def Rebel loves to ruin everything. Give me too many limes. 7 out of 10 raw. Dragonov just needs to be featured a little bit more prominently in a major story. He's just getting his feet wet, man. I'm not worried about Dragonov at all. But a lot of the time, those foreign talents, they don't really translate to the fullest extent in the United States. When we get Bash in Berlin, man, I think a lot of people are going to have a different perception of Dragonov. I think that's when it's really going to take off. Him and Gunther. Triple M says, JD, say goodbye to Still Hunt meta. That's all right. I never really use Still Hunt anyway. I got myself a nice Twilight Oath with Precision Instrument and Envious Assassin. I actually got a lot of good snipers, man. I got a crafted Aikilo sniper rifle. I have that Luna sniper rifle that was dropping from Vanguard Ops. I got Precision Instrument on that, and I got some ammo perk. I don't know, but yeah, I mean, I'm loaded on good snipers. Plus, we got Whisperer of the Worm. Who gives a shit? Wrestling Bro 91 with a 199. Tonight's Raw was a real emotional twister. Lots of stories tonight, man. Advocate 005 with 2 months. Hi, guys. Glad my work schedule is back to the morning. Able to join chat live. Love the OTS family. Thanks, guys. Advocate, good to see you back, brother. Justin with the 23 months. 1 more month until I get my golden microphone. All I can say is I'm glad Rhea Ripley is back. Keep up the great work, JD. Thank you for being here for almost 2 years, brother. And Rhea Ripley is back, and it's a great thing. Savvy Seed with a 21 months in the OTS VIP club. Feel better, JD. Woke up with a crazy headache myself today, too. Yeah, man, the headaches for the last 3 days, man. I don't know what's going on. It's usually just the back of my head here, man. I don't know. Andre Benson with a $5 super chat. Was at Raw in person during one of the breaks. Saw your post on Twitter X about Sheamus' new theme. A lot of us in the arena were like, what the fuck? Andre, yeah, I don't get it. I don't understand the need to change everybody's theme music, man. Keith Tunstall Jr. with 11 months, almost been a year. Blessed to be here and be accepted by you in the chat, JD. Thank you, Keith. Thank you for being here for a year, brother. We're happy to have you. Joseph Marsic with 3 months. Does anyone see a resemblance to the Eddie China storyline, to the Dom Rhea storyline, or my channeling my inner R-Truth? No, it's there. Triple H is a master of the old school, man. He's a lover of the old school, so I would not be surprised. Captain Solo with another 10 and a $2 super chat. Do you think the fans will stick with this Uncle Howdy gimmick for the long haul? He was a jobber for so long with Bo Leave and the B team. Will they get bored of it, or am I overthinking this? No, he got a nice reaction when he came out. When you see Uncle Howdy wrestle in the mask, I think everything will be all right. Also, what's worse, getting Def Rebelled or nattied? I'm going to say getting Def Rebelled at this point. Honestly. The Joker's voice with a $5 super chat. Hail JD and OTS. Stephanie, Vacker, and Julia coming soon to NXT. Poor Roxanne. WWE stacking the women's roster. JMO and Ginger in hand. OTS is simply the best. Thank you, Joker. Yes. Apparently they're adding Delta as well, according to rumors and reports. She wrestled in the same promotion as Rhea Ripley did before she joined WWE, so they are setting things up quite nicely down there, man, to a point where I may have to actually start covering NXT again. Triple M with a $5 super chat. Rest in peace, still hunt tomorrow. It's the best, though. While I work on my AFK macro, we'll be farming my exotic class items. Have fun with the GMs, GOAT. You know what I'm looking forward to tomorrow, man? I'm doing nothing tomorrow but getting that new sidearm. That new rocket sidearm, the solar one. So I got 99 Echo engrams all ready to go, man. I'm doing nothing but fucking cashing them things in and getting red borders, man. That's all I'm doing. Big John Stud with a $4.99. Hey, JD, listening to you driving through this storm. How do you take your notes? Are you like speaking to the tablet, writing all this down? I write everything down. I actually go through a couple of websites to get the word-for-word promos, but I write down everything that happens in the matches on my iPad. Don Parker with a $10 super chat. I am hoping Trips is booking Gunther on a legit reign of terror. They can end it with Gunther versus Jacob Fatu after some good story and long-term booking at WrestleMania 2026. I don't know who takes down Gunther, man. I'm not even thinking about it. But Gunther versus Jacob Fatu is a match I'd love to see. Hollywood guy with a $5 super chat. JD, to be honest, I'm not sure how Stephanie Vacker is going to be booked in WWE. I'm not sure if she knows much English. For promos, I'm worried. Well, if you listen to Conan, because I listened to a clip today, him and his crew, whether this is true or not, I have no idea. The two things that they said was that Stephanie was upset at Forbidden Door because Tony Khan did not get her a car service. Basically the same issue that happened with CM Punk for Wembley. Again, I don't know how true that is. And secondly, let's be real. WWE only wanted her after what they saw at Forbidden Door. I'm not doubting that WWE has scouts. I know she had tried out in 2018. WWE's got scouts. They got William Regal and all these different people scouting talent from all over the world. I get it. But why didn't they go and pursue Stephanie Vega last year? Why didn't they go and pursue Stephanie in the beginning of 2024? Why did they wait till conveniently after Forbidden Door? Oh, that's right. That's right. You know why. The other reason is that I heard apparently Triple H and Shawn Michaels laid out a year full of creative for her in NXT, and she really liked that. Meanwhile, Tony Khan offered her a contract with really no creative. WWE matched the contract that Tony Khan offered her, and she went with WWE. Again, I don't know how true any of this is. This is what I heard from Conan's clip today on YouTube. Take it with a grain of salt. I don't know. OTS Tribal Queen with a 31 months. I can't stand Triple H much, but I have to admit, he executed perfectly with how he handled a giveaway match. You tease it. You tease with it. Hint, hint, TK. You mean Dragonov and Sami Zayn? Yeah. Nick Williams with a $5 super chat. Have any games caught your attention for me sparking 0? And college football are looking hot. No, Nick. I only play Destiny right now. Very much into Destiny 2. And Lewis with a $10 super chat. What's up, JD? Great show like always. OTS for life. Lewis, I hope you are well, brother. Thank you so much. Guys, thank you for all your support. I wish you wanted to keep me around a little bit longer, but I get it. It's late. Thank you guys for a great stream. Thank you guys for this Monday Night Raw post. We will be back tomorrow. Jason and I, the Solid Monster and I, will be back with episode 57 of Tuesday. I think it's episode 57. Is it? Of Tuesday Night Titans. We will be doing our thing tomorrow night live right here on the YouTube channel. Yes, it's episode 57 tomorrow night. Make sure you guys tune in. Should be great. We'll go over the week's news, debate, and have fun like always, man. Follow me on social media at JD from NY206, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Cameo. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for notifications, and make sure you guys hit that thumbs up. Let's try to get as close to 1,000 likes as possible. And please make sure you guys hit that subscribe button down below and turn on the bell for all notifications. And until tomorrow night, guys, Tuesday night, I will see you back live with the Solid Monster right here for Tuesday Night Titans on Off the Script. I will see you guys later.